Welcome to the Sure Sales Group Show, episode 17. I can't believe we're already 17 episodes in. Today I wanted to go over three terms that are used interchangeably and often incorrectly, which are trends, value, and price, and pricing strategy. Oftentimes you'll hear people use these terms interchangeably, or when they're attempting to price a property or justify an appraisal, they'll kind of mix all these up. And for some clarification for you, if you're thinking about buying a house or selling a house, it's important to be able to identify trends. What are they? How do we look at them? How do they impact sales prices? Value. What is value in the real estate world? Who determines value? And finally, pricing and pricing opinions that are generated by the real estate community. So just because someone puts a price on it doesn't necessarily give it any validity in the grand scheme of things. So, starting with trends. Some of the trends we're seeing, today is a Tuesday, we just got out of our sales meeting, and we like to talk about the trends we're seeing with our listings so we can have intelligent conversations with our sellers. Some homes are selling quickly and we don't really know why. We priced that pretty aggressively and boom, it sold quick. Homes are priced right, they're clearly a good value and they're not selling. And sometimes we're seeing homes that have been on the market for over 100 days, 3, 4, 5 months, and then they sell at full price. So when those dynamics are happening, we want to look back at some of the macro trends to see what trends are happening that are allowing these types of things to happen. So a trend is made up of all the homes. Trends are simply data points of past performance in any given market. Now, the more narrow and micro you go, the more impact the trend's going to have. For example, here's what's happening in Maryland versus Baltimore City versus Canton. The more narrow you go, the more weight the trends have towards helping you get to what you're really after, which is value and price. Now, the three big things to look at if you're going to identify a trend, which is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? What are the great macro trends? You want to look at median price, median days on market, meaning is the median price going up? Are sales increasing? Days on market, are homes selling quicker? Are they longer? And most of the time, median price and median days on market is in direct correlation to MSI, months supply, worth of inventory, basic supply and demand concepts there. So the two key things with the MSI is the velocity, how quickly are the homes selling and how many are coming to market, how many new listings, how many are going under contract. We like to call that velocity and absorption rates. That's another conversation to get into that on a deep level, but that's how you identify a trend. Median price, median days on market, absorption rates, and the velocity of the market. Value in business is V equals Q over C. Value equals quality over cost. What's the value of something? What's the value of anything? Quality over cost. In the real estate world, value is determined by one person and one person only, and it's the appraiser and the bank. These people determine the value. They justify the value. Anytime there is a mortgage on a property, which is in over 90% of the sales, the bank hires a third-party appraiser to determine the value. The agents don't get to pick the value. The buyers and the sellers don't get to pick the value. The appraiser picks the value. So we can table value as something that only an appraiser can come up with. So people throw around the words, hey, what's the fair market value? What's the perceived market value? Is this a fair value? Well, it's not really the best question because the value is only determined in residential real estate by the bank and the appraiser. What we're really after is what is the price and the pricing strategy I should use for selling my home? Or what price should we offer? Pricing is an individual opinion. We price properties all the time. Listing agents, that's their job, is to price a property and combine a pricing strategy with a marketing strategy to bring it to the marketplace. Hopefully it's aligned with the trends, and hopefully the bank will justify it with their appraisal and justify the value of the pricing opinion that was agreed to in a contract. So how do we get to price, and how do we come up with intelligent pricing opinions? Well, here's how. At first, you kind of have to work backwards. You got to know the trends, and you got to kind of think like an appraiser. How would the appraiser look at this? And they look at things called, through a lens called book value. And the number one component of book value is price per square foot. That's a very common way to value a property, price per square foot. So price per square foot's good when developing a pricing opinion, but it's not the only thing. It just goes to show how wrong us realtors can be if we're just only going off price per square foot. Because price per square foot will give you a good range. But what determines an accurate pricing opinion is all of the interior and exterior features in a home and how do they align with the other comparable sales that make up that micro market that you're using to price the property. So for example, if you live in Bel Air or you live in Howard County or pick any town, you're in Ellicott City, what you want to look at is where are the last 10 homes that have sold, what was their price per square foot, and how did the features, interior and exterior, compare to this home we're trying to price? And there's so many components here, and this is why it does take a lot of due diligence and some study to come up with a sound range. Is it on a busy street? Is it not on a busy street? Is it on a cul-de-sac? What's the lot size? Is the kitchen updated? Does it have the granite, the hardwood, the stainless steel appliances? How big are the bedrooms? How big is the basement? All of these components, there's a million more. You can think of them. Is it a tree-lined street? Is it easy to park? 2-car garage, 3-car garage, no garage? What are the neighbors like? All of these things come into the pricing opinions. So I'm just going to cut it off there because I could talk all day about these types of things because each one is very important. How to identify trends, how appraisers come up with value, and how agents introduce properties to the market with individual pricing opinions. So just know, every time you see a house listed for sale, that's someone's pricing opinion of the house. Is the buyer's opinion and the buyer's sentiment aligned with that? If so, it's going to go quickly at full price. If not, maybe it sits. And again, that circles back into what are the trends? What's going on? What is the velocity and the absorption rates in this community? Is this normal? Is it not normal? Should we have already had showings? Should we have already had offers based on what else is going on in the community? So long story short is pricing a property is literally the most important aspect of listing, a professional listing agent's job. Because one of my mentors, I won't name him by name because he's actually a competitor now, but you'll know if you're watching this, he told me that there's only 3 things that determine if a house sells. Is it priced right? Is it easy to show? And does it show well? Priced right is this all in alignment with what the market dictates? Is it priced right? Is it easy to show? Meaning, you as a seller, are you letting agents come and show their qualified buyers your house? Or are you making it hard for them? Are you declining it when they want to come see your home? Do you have kids and dogs and life happening in your house that makes your home hard to show? So is it priced right? Is it easy to show? And does it show well? How does your house show when you get in there? Is it clean? Is it staged? Do you have some nice brochures? Do you have a good follow-up process in place? So that's all I have for today, episode 17, Trends, Value, and Price. And I'll try to keep doing these as consistently as I can. Thanks for watching. Oh, by the way, with pricing and pricing strategies, we've looked at this so much in every advertised subdivision that we've ever sold a house in, meaning Canton, Federal Hill, Brentwood Park, any subdivision. And we've broken down pricing strategies that are key to identify whether you want to go aspirational and shoot high and see if you can set the record in the community. Someone's got to set the record. Your neighbors will love it if you sell at aspirational pricing. There's a whole marketing campaign designed to work well in an aspirational pricing environment. You have the perceived market value pricing strategy where you come up with, say, hey, this is where we're justifying the price based on what an appraiser would use, perceived market value, middle of the road. Or do you want to go with an event pricing strategy, meaning this is going to be literally like an event auction style. You're definitely going to get multiple offers, which has a ton of intangible benefits, such as controlling the situation a lot more, dictating certain terms. Whenever you get multiple offers, you get to dictate the terms quite a bit more. So remember this, there's no right or wrong way to do it. There's due diligence required, and you need to ask yourself, am I going to price this property aspirationally or perceived market value style or event pricing, each of which has a totally different way to introduce the property to the market for the best outcome.